Is this the same car copy and pasted 10 times over? Welcome to the Study Garage, and these are all 10 2025 LEGO Speed Champions F1 cars, and in this video, I'm going to be answering that question. At a quick glance, there's no doubt that all of these basically look exactly alike, as if they really are clones with different logos, especially to the non-F1 fans, and even more so to non-car enthusiasts. But one of the initial giveaway signs that they're all at least a little different are the piece counts, with all of them having various piece counts between about 240 and 280, with the only two cars sharing a piece count being the Aston Martin and McLaren. But upon further inspection of both, you'll notice a few subtle differences towards the rear half of the car. However, building all 10 could start to feel a little repetitive, especially with such small differences in detail. And one thing totally unrelated to LEGO that I want to point out is that all of these logos either say or have Formula 1 infused into the name. For example, Armco Formula 1 Team, McLaren Formula 1 Team, Kick F1 Team, even Williams Racing and Oracle Red Bull Racing have racing in the title. But then we have Ferrari, and it's just Ferrari. The aura is crazy. Anyway, without further ado, we'll go ahead and start building from lowest piece count to the highest, which means the least exciting car color-wise is up first with the MoneyGram Haas VP24. And after a quick look around the exterior, it was time to open the first box, in which had 6 bags, instructions, and unfortunately, a lot of stickers. Anyway, inside the instruction book is a little Easter egg comparing the weights of both cars with mirrored photos, which is a really neat touch and reminds me of the ye old SG Raceway shenanigans. Actually building the car is okay and extremely similar to the recent LEGO McLaren and Aston Martin F1 cars released last year, although this one has a few upgrades with some new pieces like these slopes that make up the side panels, these clear 1x2 plates with a stud holder, and this suspension molding that has built-in tire aero flaps. And finally, we have 2 different sets of wheels with fatter wheels and tires in the back and skinnier wheels and tires in the front. The minifigure also gets an upgrade with a new helmet design that more closely resembles real F1 helmets. Altogether, it turns out to be a nicely designed and upgraded version of the LEGO Speed Champions F1 formula. I will admit though, there wasn't anything inherently exciting about this build besides the new pieces, but all in all, it's a fairly good baseline start to the collection. And with the first one out of the way, let's go ahead and tackle the next one, which is the Visa Cash App Red Bull car, which I'm gonna call it that every time. And for some reason, it's rocking a light blue, red, and white, when the picture of the real car on the back of the box shows a purple car. I bet this color change definitely confuses and maybe even annoys a lot of LEGO F1 fans, and admittedly, I wish it had the purple, but I'll also admit I do in fact like this color scheme a lot. Inside the box was again 6 bags, instructions, and stickers, which tells me that we can probably expect all these to have 6 bags, an instruction book, and stickers, so I'll just let you know if anything changes in the next 8 unboxings. Inside this instruction book, instead of the weight of the car, was actually the horsepower of the real car, but then the clutch power of the LEGO car. And if you look, it says the strength and stability with which LEGO bricks connect and stay together. So they're clutching together? Is that the lore term? But actually building this car surprised me because of how much more fun it was to build than the Haas car. This midsection is so much more of a cohesive and fluid design with neat building techniques. I mean, just look at how seamlessly this slope is integrated along with this beautiful flow of the red panel that tucks away into the rounded off blue top. And an absolute highlight for me is the printed metallic bull on both the upper body and towards the nose. There's also another new piece which instantly seems like it's going to be a LEGO car community smash hit. Altogether, I would say this is a way cooler build than the Haas car, and if I were to have to start ranking them, it would be this in first and the Haas in second. Next up in the lineup though is the Oracle Red Bull, and one weird difference in this one is the instruction book, where now we have the speed of the car. How did they... Whatever. Anyway, this is where I really started to see the design and personality differences in all of these cars. With this design featuring a beautiful tunnel along the side of the midsection of the car, which obviously is probably used for airflow, but also creates this really unique look. There's also some really clever usage of angled slopes, like this section here on the car's undercarriage. To me though, my favorite part of this entire build is the minifig, whose helmet looks so good. Altogether, I really enjoyed building it and it looks great, but I think if we continue the ranking system, I'd still have the Visa Cash App Red Bull F1 car on top, then this one, then the Haas car, which I bet will probably continue to move down as we move through this collection. And doing just that, next up we have the BWT Alpine car, which I am in love with the colors of. Something I found humorous was the Easter egg in this instruction book was how many pieces made up the car. So now I feel like anything can happen here. I really hope one has the number of wheels or something hilarious like that. Building this car definitely feels like building a Lego because of just how boxy the final car is. And something I notice now is the fact that pieces that could be one are now separated into 2, two. For example, behind this little brake light is what I think it is. For the first two cars is one 1x1 short brick. But for the Alpine, it's two 1x1 plates. And the same thing happens with these mounting brackets on the side of the wing, which could be one 1x2 bracket and is on the first two cars, but not on these two. Very weird. Anywho, I really do like this final build, mostly because of the colors, and it was pretty fun to put together, but I will say it's definitely the most flimsy of the four altogether. I'd probably place this in third place behind the two Red Bull cars, but above the Haas. But now it's time for the car I'm most excited for, purely based off of the color, because this green Kick Sauber car is spectacular. And like I said, I feel like anything can be used for the instruction book Easter egg, because this time it's assembly time. And it says the Lego car takes 1 hour. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna time this build. Let's see if I can beat 1 hour. And as I do that, in the upper left corner of your screen, I'd like to share the sponsor of this video, which is me and my new Brick Car t-shirt. Ever since I started this channel in 2022, the banner has been these 4 brick cars. So after almost a year of daydreaming about this very design, I finally made it a real thing that you can order right now from the link in the description. And not only that, but it also comes in yellow and blue. So please, if you want to help support this channel, definitely check out the drippiest shirts in the brick building system game. But with that out of the way, there you have it. I did it in 33 minutes and 10 seconds. I have officially beat the international world record of the world, or something like that. Don't look it up. Now, I have to admit, this car is the first car to be placed below the Haas racing car, which hurts me to say because of how much I love the green. But to be honest, this car has a lot of design elements similar to the Haas car, but the Haas car just does it all a little bit better. But now moving on, the next up is the Williams Racing F1 car. And I have to say, I do be racing. Let me tell you, these instruction book Easter eggs are getting out of hand, because now we're talking about establishing dates of the companies and nothing about the cars. But building the actual car was quite interesting because this car is actually pretty delicate, and it honestly feels like a Picasso painting with a lot of weird connections and gaps. However, it was really fun to build, and overall I'd probably place it in second place because it was a really good challenge at times with nice payoffs. But wasting no time in diving into the next car, we have the Mercedes AMG Formula 1 car, and personally, I believe Mercedes has the best colors. The black, gray, and aqua teal blue is absolutely iconic. The Easter egg inside of the instruction book, though, is kind of lame in a dad joke way, because this time it's fuel capacity, in which I guess the Lego's fuel capacity is infinite curiosity. I would have said infinite imagination, but okay. The build on this car was actually pretty unique, with some new design elements that I've not seen yet on the first 6 cars, like these angled 1/4 pyramid type slopes, the plate with the fork hand underneath it, and these tube-like rounded off side panels. If I were to rank it with the cars so far, I'd probably put it in second place because it didn't excite me or wow me as much as the Visa Cash App Red Bull F1 car did, but it was one of the best. But nobody was ready for the prestige of this next car, which was the McLaren Formula 1 car. And holy cow, was this car on a whole nother level. The midsection of this car was by far the most complex and intricately designed builds of all 8 so far. There are some really interesting, unique building techniques happening here, which are all so fun to build. The McLaren F1 car easily takes first place over the competition. Plain and simple, making it easy. But it's not over yet, because we have 2 more cars left, with our next contender being the Aston Martin. And right off the bat, I was shocked by this Easter egg because apparently 5.6 meters is 184 feet. That is a long car. But in all seriousness, now I'm doubting every single conversion every one of these instruction books has. Like, is it really infinite? Matter of fact, how would you even measure that? But altogether, this car is actually a pretty fun build that has some of the best features from both the Williams Racing and Haas car. So for that, I'd probably place it above the Williams Racing, putting it in 4th place. But last, and certainly not least, we have the OG, the top dog, the Ferrari F1 car. And honestly, what a poetic way to close this collection out with the F1 car. Taking a look into the instruction book, this time we find the headquarters of each company, which for Ferrari is Maranello, and once again, the aura is crazy. The building process was comparable to the McLaren in how much fun it was, but is a little bit less complicated, which in my opinion, gives it a little bit more of a refined look over the McLaren. And even after 10 cars, the Ferrari was able to provide some fresh building techniques that I had not seen on any of the previous 9 cars. It even had what I think is a new piece to be discovered, which gives me confidence in putting the Ferrari F1 car in first place of the car I like to build the most. And if I had to help you choose 1 or 2 of the 10, I would definitely say pick either the Ferrari, the McLaren, the Visa Cash App Red Bull F1 car, or the Mercedes AMG. All 4 look absolutely incredible and are such great builds. And if by any chance you were going to buy all 10, I highly recommend building them in this order of least amount of pieces to the greatest. But the only reason I'd argue for getting all 10 is the minifigs, because every single minifig from the collection is so good looking, especially the Oracle Red Bull driver with that gray helmet and red visor. I also personally love how all of the helmets have different color visors, not technically necessary, but such a cool little addition. But let's go ahead and stay on the subject of minifigures while we switch over to the downsides that I have with these sets. The first of which would be, I wish we got minifigures based on the actual drivers of these teams. I don't know if there's an extra license fee to get the likeness of the drivers, but it would have been such a cherry on top for all of these cars if we had their respected drivers. The next thing I noticed was the fact that the steering wheel on all of these is the controller style F1 steering wheel, when I actually believe that this style F1 steering wheel looks way better. And this style comes with the smaller Lego City F1 cars. But finally, the only other thing we all wish would just go away is all of the stickers. But now that I have completed all 10 back to back, I can answer the question, is this the same car copy and pasted 10 times over? And the answer is no. But also, yes. You see, not once during the entire building of these cars did I feel like I was building the same car 10 times over, because the midsections were all constructed so differently. However, when it comes to both the rear section with the wing and lower bumper, and the nose from the front axle to the tip of the car, that was all the same 10 times over, yes. But it didn't really feel like it, probably thanks to all the different colors and logo stickers. The only thing that actually felt like I was doing something 20 times over were those little rear axle things, because I did in fact do them 20 times over. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave me a like if you did, and definitely pick up a shirt if you want one. But with that, stay creative and peace.